Welcome to Yellowstone National Park. This is your all-access pass. Yellowstone's right here in the northwest United States, partly in Wyoming and partly in Montana. In this video, we're taking you around the whole park to Old Faithful, the colourful Grand Prismatic, the terraces of Mammoth Hot Springs, the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, and to other bubbly geothermal features like these. And we get up close and personal with wildlife, but not too close. There's so much to see, so sit back and enjoy the world's very first national park. Yellowstone sits on 3,500 square miles of forest, geysers, hot springs, canyons, rivers, and waterfalls. It's so big that there are 5 entrances. The north entrance in Gardiner, Montana, the northeast entrance in Cook City, the east entrance around Cody, the south entrance just above Grand Teton National Park, and the west entrance around West Yellowstone. And West Yellowstone is where we're starting our journey today. But before we go into the park, quick checklist. Bear spray and loud bear bells, especially if you're hiking, lots of water, a packed lunch because there aren't that many restaurants, and sunscreen. Oh, and the most important thing, gotta get a selfie at the sign. If we haven't met, hi, we're Mandy and Orlando, and the beast in the back seat is Abraham, our Great Pyrenees. Long lines to get in and crowds are to be expected at Yellowstone, but for $35 for a 7-day pass, it's so worth it. And driving around is easy. You just follow the road called Grand Loop, and all the attractions are on this road. There's the upper loop, which is 70 miles, and a 4-hour drive. And the lower loop, the most popular, which is 94 miles and takes about 5 hours. We're taking the upper loop first. It's such a lovely drive along the river watching the wildlife in their natural habitat. So peaceful looking at the buffalo. Until the cute calves show their baby faces and everyone crowds around and this happens. But these buffaloes just don't listen well, and now we're stuck in a full-on buffalo traffic jam with the park rangers trying to herd the animals with their pickup trucks. I think we'll be here for a while. Ooh, that's a good shot, smile! And here's a tip. If you see cars pulled over and people running across the road, someone has spotted a bear or a wolf. So just pull over and join them. Continuing our drive, but we're going to be stopping at the pullouts along the way to see the geothermal attractions, because you know Yellowstone is just one big volcano, right? And now we're coming to the most dynamic area of geysers and springs. It's the Norris Geyser Basin, home to the hottest, most acidic waters in Yellowstone. Just look at how that witch's brew bubbles. On the other side of the basin, you can stroll along the boardwalks to see more volcanic activity. There's the Steamboat Geyser, and down the hill a little bit there's the Pork Chop Geyser and the Puff and Stuff Geyser. What absolutely brilliant names! But I think we're going to go back to the car. Look at these clouds. Have you noticed how drastically the weather changes here? And this poor buffalo is walking home in the rain. Oh, look at that, Abraham. And these elks over here are getting soaked too. It's the middle of May. Was not expecting snow to still be here, or hail. Just as the weather changes drastically, so does the landscape, all in the space of just a couple of hours before we arrive at Mammoth Hot Springs. And this landscape is one of the most dramatic in the park. It's one of Yellowstone's major tourist attractions with a visitor's center, a museum, restaurants, and campgrounds. These are the travertine terraces. That's these limestone steps made out of a type of limestone called travertine, and they're constantly changing as the hot springs spout out their calcium deposits and the air turns them yellow. That's all I know, and that's your geology lesson for the day. And you're welcome. We're continuing our drive around the upper loop, and wait a minute, what are all these people doing? Oh, my goodness, it's a black bear! Oh wow, Mama Bear is with her cub. Are there one or two? This is unbelievable. Right above my head is a black bear. In the trees are her two cubs. Wow, I've never been this close. I'm just looking at her now. Look at all these people. Their cameras taking photos. Super jealous right now of these professionals with their tripods and zoom lenses. This was my best shot, and I need a bear selfie. Oh, incoming, Mama Bear. She's back to check on the kids. She's the sow, by the way, if we're going to be technical. The papa bears are the boars, and they are terrible parents. They kill their own offspring because they want to mate again, and with two cubs running around her feet already, Mama Bear wants no part of his shenanigans. Come on, kids, get down from the tree. It's time to go home. The park ranger is standing right next to us, watching the bears' every move. Yes, sir, you don't have to tell us twice. We'll be right next door at Calcite Springs. We heard the views are absolutely gorgeous. Before we leave this area, here's a map of how to find those bears because this is a known spot. It's 100 feet to the left of the Calcite Springs overlook, in the upper loop. Good luck! As we drive to our next stop, let's talk poop. I'm serious! You'll see animal dung all over Yellowstone, and it's good to know what animals have been around. Here's a little something I made earlier to help. You can thank me later. Hi from Yellowstone. This is the second time we've been in the park today, and I totally recommend coming at sunset. The way that the light is hitting these cascades, these mountains, and the snow, even though it's almost June, it's absolutely unbelievable. Look at this. And over there is the waterfall. It's really easy for everyone to see the beauty of the Grand Canyon. There are hiking trails all the way down to the waterfall, or you can just drive from overlook to overlook and walk from the parking lot along the pavement to see those iconic Yellowstone views. But looking over the edge can be a little nerve-wracking. The sun is setting on the Grand Canyon, and there's time for just one last stop. That's the Hayden Valley. And this is supposed to be the place where you see wolves. All I'm seeing is some little ducks over here. I can't hear any wolves. Over here, big bear prints. So the bears were here, but no wolves today in Hayden Valley. Maybe we'll be lucky tomorrow. We're trying to get out of the park, but it's almost impossible not to stop and take just a few more photos because the colours of the sunset and all the reflections are priceless. But this lone buffalo having a sunset drink is my absolute favourite. It's just perfect. It's 9 o'clock at night. What's holding up traffic? Oh no, not again. Well, that was a long day, but we're back today to do the lower loop and see Yellowstone's finest, the Grand Prismatic Spring and Old Faithful Geyser. And along the way, we're surrounded by these vapors coming out of the earth. They're not hot springs because they don't have water spurting out of them. These steam vents are called fumaroles, and we're going to see lots more. But first, paint pots? Yellow flowers growing next to it, boiling wind. Oh, look at this! Fountain paint pots is all bubbling. Jumping. From paint pots to pools to more steamy fumaroles here and erupting geysers, these geothermal features make up the volcanic tableland, and you can walk along the planks and see nature in full force. And now we're heading to the Midway Geyser Basin, my favourite part of the park and home to the Grand Prismatic Spring. Probably the most photographed feature in Yellowstone. We're going to walk the boardwalks around the 4 parts of the basin: Excelsior Geyser, Grand Prismatic Spring, the Opal Pool and the Turquoise Pool. It's one big loop. We start here at the bridge and we follow the trail around. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning and there's quite a crisp air. But then you stand behind this Excelsior Geyser and it's really warm, like you're in a steam bath. It doesn't smell, there's no sulfur smell. It's really warm right here, and over here it's freezing. The Grand Prismatic Spring at 200 feet wide is Yellowstone's largest hot spring and is indeed a prism of light. We've been wanting to see this for years now, so it's official. Bucket list, check. Well, this is the little sister of the Grand Prismatic, but it's absolutely beautiful. And the park ranger nearby pointed out some bear tracks right next to the Opal Pool. It's time to leave the Midway Geyser Basin behind and head back across the bridge, because we've still got to see Yellowstone's most famous attraction, Old Faithful. It erupts every 60 to 90 minutes and something tells me we're right on time. Here we are at Old Faithful and we're waiting for this to erupt. So we've got the best seat in the house, on this log, and we're having our lunch. This is it! After the eruption, it's mass exodus, and we can finally get to the front for a photograph. While we're here, we just have to see the iconic Old Faithful Inn, one of America's last standing log hotels, and it's a National Historic Landmark. To stay here, you'll splash out $500 to $600 a night. This is the lobby made of lodgepole pine, and this is the dining room. Looks lovely. I wonder what's on the menu. Ooh, a buffet with salmon, ribs, posh veg, mash and bread pudding and custard for dessert. That's all right for $40, but I'm still full from lunch and it's time for some more exploring. Right, Abraham? Ooh, what's going on here? Bears, wolves? Spoiler alert, wolves. Apparently there are 2 white wolves in the distance. They look like little black dots from here. Let's zoom in. It looks like they're fighting or maybe playing. Can't see too well. But how lucky are we to see not 1, but 2 wolves? They probably look something like this close up, but we've got one of those in the back of the car. Hello, Abraham. We've got one last stop for today, and that's West Thumb on Yellowstone Lake, and we're about to cross the Continental Divide. We're really high up, and there's still lots of snow, and it's cold. Look, Duck Lake is still frozen. This is West Thumb, and it goes from these tiny little pools here to this massive frozen lake over here. Bubbles over here, absolutely boiling hot springs, and then over here we've got the lake still iced over, and it's the end of May. This is called Fishing Cone. Well, this bright turquoise pool is called Blackpool. That's funny because we have a black pool in England and it does not look anything like this. And on that beautiful turquoise note, it's time to say goodbye to Yellowstone. It's been a wonderful 2 days and we hope you've had fun. If you have time, we highly recommend you check out the other parts of the state. Our 4 videos linked below will help. Please consider subscribing to our channel, Destination Everywhere. And lastly, thanks for letting us share the world with the world.